49er mind is
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er mind. 49er mind.
Can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session about our red and gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions, let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how they spin in the spot. Let's call that back, all that crack, all that straight fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the storyline, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind.
49er mind.
It's not just a thought process,
49er mind,
but a way of life. For sure.
49er mind.
Way of life.
49er mind.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bring the Heat podcast on the 49er Minded channel. Here with my co-hosts, we have Mariah from 49er Faithfully Podcast. How you doing, Mariah?
What up? What up? I'm good, thank you.
She is good. Great. Wonderful. Fantastic. Okay, we got Ryan in the stand-up mode. Reminded me of that guy, Pat McAfee. From No Motorsports. Ryan, what's up?
There's some guy, I can't remember the name of his thing, but he's got two mics and he stands up and he talks to both of them at the same time. He keeps going back and forth, and he has to get $100 in donos. I can't remember. I've showed you this one before. He's like, gotta get to $100 in donos. Gotta get to $100 in donos. He's got two mics.
You did show it to me. If you remember, type in the private chat. If you could tell me later, that's fine. I do remember you showing me something like that a while back. There's always some type of different unique approach that these guys on YouTube have, and we all have our microphones. That's for sure. We got some people waiting patiently in the chat. We got Niners Sickness Podcast. I love the name of the show. Whoever came up with that name was cooking, baby. Cooking like Brock and Ayukar. We'll find out 49ers. Says bring on the Browns. Let's go. Melissa says let's go, Brian and Bass. Thank you, Melissa. Izzy, as they say. 49er throwback. Otherwise known as Fernando. Got Steve-O. Says Super Bowl minded. I think that's what he means. Says SB. What up, Corey? Good to see you. Says let's already go for Cleveland takedown. Another top-rated defense, quote unquote. Let's go. Quest for 6. It was Donald Johnson. Good to see you in a while. Says up, everyone. Raphael 5629er says what's up, Bashar, Mariah, and everyone. Thank you.
What up?
Randy Daytona, obviously, he is here in the building. Sitting is really bad for you. I only sit for about 45 minutes a day. Maybe I should stand up too then, huh? Andy Ladd says, what's up? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, I went to high school with him for a minute. Good dude. Loyal 49er fan. And things are looking good, man. 5-0. You know, shit, man. We got the best scoring offense in the league. No, sorry, second best scoring offense in the league. Behind Miami, they're at 181 points per. They put up 181 points so far. We put up 167. And that 70-point blowout game is what did it for them to push it. You know, a team with this defense, this 49er defense, so to put up points like that is a thing of beauty, man.
They don't got all the other stat categories we got.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
They don't have the same experience either. Now, of course, they have one of our coaches, that worked with Kyle, but it's all good. Kyle usually does well against the students, I must say. What do you think, Mariah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So far, so good when it comes to that. I mean, Miami's good, though. Don't take nothing away from them. They put up those 70 points, so they get the credit for it. And, yeah, I mean, they have a shitload of speed. Like, they are so fast. And then you see that rookie running back they just got. He's super fast. He's like the top. He's like holding. I saw a thing for the top speed so far through 5 weeks, 1 through 10. And Miami holds like 7 or 8 of the 10 spots. And that rookie running back's on there like 3 or 4 times already. And then Mostert holds a spot. And then obviously Hill holds a couple spots. But yeah, man, that team's just that. Like, I'm the most scared of them strictly for their speed. Like, not because of the talent they have, not because of, Mike being over there, nothing about their defense, not to strictly their speed, because they get behind the defense and it's over.
that running back, rookie running back you're talking about is Devon A-Chain, if I'm saying his name right.
Yeah.
Fired up 49ers. My friend was telling me about this guy for quite some time when I was doing my mock draft shows. He kept telling me that I should pick him when we were doing our mock drafts, and the guy, he's right about him. The guy is just crazy explosive. He's going to be out for a few weeks. Actually, he sustained a knee injury, so I'm not sure how many games he's going to miss. It just says multiple weeks, so that's not good for the Dolphins, that's for sure. But yeah, they do have a track team out there, and they do have a lot of good football players. They're well coached, so I'm not going to take them lightly if we do have to face them. We got Dion from Niner Gang Podcast here, says, "What's good?" Oh, hang on, I'm on the wrong thing.
What's up, Dion?
I had the wrong window open. There you go. What up, Dion? Says, "What's good, Bashar and Mariah?" We got Brandon from Forever Faithful Podcast. Says, "What's up?"
Hey,
good to have Brandon here.
What up, Brandon?
Yeah, Melissa says Tua had 3 picks to the Giants, including a 102-yard pick 6. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Were you gonna add something, Ryan? I think.
No, I don't think I needed to. I think everything.
You're right, Mariah. They do have a track team. It is kind of scary. Nighthawk Afterburner, what's up, Nighthawk? If you remember the Rombo show, he was one of the famous callers on there. Good to see him. We got Aaron is here. Says,
hey,
what
Aaron.
up?
What up, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, prior to this past game that we had against the Cowboys, CMC was in the MVP running, been having himself an awesome, early part of the season. And little by little, I kind of felt like Purdy was kind of creeping up a little bit, and from the previous game and this last game, CMC did okay. He didn't do bad, but he had I believe he may have had a concussion, or it looked like they were trying to get him to have a concussion. They were hitting him with his helmet or whatever. It looked like they were targeting CMC a bit, but hey, if we don't have CMC playing, Jordan Mason stepped in. And at the end of the day, though, Brock Purdy's like, hey, I might be in the conversation for MVP. Look at me, man. I'm throwing 4 touchdowns here.
Well, their focus and their game plan was to stop Christian McCaffrey, and when they couldn't do it through normal means, they took it upon themselves, I'm guessing, to try and do it in another way. And Christian McCaffrey is tough. Sorry, come check that shit at the door, bro. If all you're doing to do is get yourself in trouble, and I hope he gets a fat ass fine. Enjoy that shit.
What do you think, Mariah?
I think 3 weeks in a row now they've tried to rip CMC's freaking head off. And it's starting to look like, they're purposely going after him. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on because, like I said, 3 games in a row, each one they've had that same helmet freaking where they're ripping, grabbing his helmet and ripping it behind while he's freaking running. And yeah, he's tough because he could have been seriously injured on a couple of those plays.
Facts.
Yeah, and I've seen him get hit a few times where he's thrown around a bit, or he'll run through people, but sometimes I'll be like, oh wow, I hope he didn't get hurt. And he gets up just fine. And like it just looks a little too tough sometimes. And Niner fans, ever since we've gotten CMC, have been saying, why don't we interchange our running backs a bit more? And I think this may have been a wake-up call to Kyle because I think he finally said, okay, you know what, let me throw in Jordan Mason there. And Jordan Mason worked out his body this past offseason. They were saying he was almost at 240 pounds last year. He didn't necessarily look like it to me, but that's what a lot of people were saying. And he definitely had better conditioning this offseason, got more ripped, got in better shape, dropped about 15 pounds. And they said in camp, they were saying that he looked a whole lot more explosive. I didn't see it in the preseason. Didn't really see it in the beginning of the season, but looks like we definitely saw it when he took over. Yeah.
I guess
when he ripped off that big TD, man, that was like it was so funny because I believe we were only up like 35, to 10 or whatever, and it's just beautiful. Just keep scoring on the Cowboys and making them look silly. I mean, the defense. Let's talk about the defense because a lot of people were down in this Steve Wilks defense, saying Steve Wilks isn't fit for this defense or he's not getting this defense playing right. And I was thinking that, hey, maybe it's just that he's just got to get his feet warm with this defense. Maybe he's not used to certain things or they're not used to him. And, eventually we'll have a game where we step up and start looking like the real 49er defense, the West Coast defense.
What if he was capable of doing this whole time and he just didn't want to put anything on tape until he just dropped his trowel in front of the Dallas Cowboys? You know what I'm saying? He had the game plan. He knew week 5 he was gonna have a big thing. What if he just kind of vanillaed it for the first 4 weeks and made the Dallas Cowboys make corrections and stuff like that on something that's not relevant whatsoever, because things are going to change, you know?
I mean, Lenore made some comments that made it seem like, hinted around to that. So, I mean, if the players are saying it, I'm sure. Yeah.
What did he say? Do you remember?
He said that they hadn't played, as much man that, as they were planning on playing with the Cowboys. He said the coach trusted them to, go out there and do it, even though, to go out there and do stuff that they hadn't put on tape previously, to, switch up things.
Maybe he was playing a lot of zone to not have to put his man packages out there so they could see him. Because it seemed like there was a light switch that flipped. You know what I mean? It seemed a lot more productive. And then it was like, it's like night and day. When you watch it, it's like night and day difference, but it's not 100% night and day. Obviously, they got the same jerseys on and whatnot, but it's, man, stopping everything. Like, it was, stop the run, let Dak kill us, which he can't. He's gonna crumble and fall. I was on Corey's stream, right? I said, okay, we went up this much. Okay, here comes the interception. And then after the interception, there's gonna be the fighting, right? Because and then I was like, we'll probably even see another interception. And there was another interception. It was like, man, everything I called out happened. It was crazy. I even called George. They go, the George Kittle had 2 touchdowns and whatnot at that point. Who do you think's going to get this touchdown? I said, it could even be George Kittle again. George Kittle.
And we were talking that we were waiting for Kittle. Kittle prior to this game didn't have any touchdowns at all. So we were, and he did have a good game against the New York Giants. He had put up 90 yards, but I was waiting for this guy to get into the end zone, especially since last year, and even throughout Kittle's career, he didn't really get in the end zone too much. And people try to say that Kelsey's way better because Kelsey always finds his way to the end zone. But when Purdy stepped in last year, Kittle was getting the TDs. And I was like, where is that this season? And lo and behold, on the national stage, 3 touchdowns. Now, was it my favorite one? The flea flicker was really, really nice. But other than the flea flicker, in terms of like being impressive and not being so gimmicky, that one, I don't know if it was his first touchdown. I think it was his first touchdown. The one where Brock rolled to the right, and it was off of a play fake. And the way Brock's footwork was on there, his escapability from the pocket, his awareness, and the way he rifled that ball in the end zone, that was a beautiful touchdown, man. That was very underrated.
So that was the second window on the play. The first window opened up right as he was flushing himself from the pocket. Like, people were getting too close. He's like, I'll get it at the second window once I move out over here. I noticed that. That was a very exciting thing to see from him. And also, I was talking about this with Ted earlier. Shout out for Ted from Ted Talks Ball. Purdy is starting to, last year, he always had to set his feet before he threw. No matter what happened, when he was on the run, he had to set his feet. Now he's throwing on the run at times when he needs to, and he knows he can't set his feet. He's throwing on the run with touch. And the other thing I've noticed is he's really good with his mechanics as far as his feet. He's really good with it. He throws the ball when his back foot hits. He's always got his front foot. Well, every once in a while he's off, but there's been a couple times, but he's always got his front foot pointing towards where he's throwing the ball. And he lets that thing fling. Sorry,
I've watched a couple different quarterbacks that have broken down, Purdy's tape and whatnot. And that's something they always bring up is his feet and his base, like they're like damn near perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember, that's a thing that like they were always bitching about with Jimmy, right? It was his footwork and like, that part. And it seems, and then even with Trey, that was something that he seemed he couldn't get down at all. And then you see Purdy come in and like, I was watching it, after watching that tape, after the quarterbacks are saying that, and I'm like, damn, it really is always, like he scrambles a little bit, but his feet are always where if he needs to stop and throw that ball at any time, like he's good, you know, like
It's like 98% of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe 96. It's somewhere in there.
crazy.
It's very high.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot better right now at climbing the pocket as well. He wasn't climbing the pocket much last year. He was doing that thing where people said that he had this tendency for, where he scrambled out to the left. And last year when we played the Cowboys, had a way to game plan against that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these things that are like tells or predictable things for Purdy are things that he fixed. So this whole notion that people were saying, and there were a lot of skeptics out there, and I don't blame them because they didn't see enough film. We barely saw anything from the guy. But they said that he had these tendencies, and he wasn't going to get any. He's doing good. He's doing a good job so far. But since he doesn't have any elite type of physical skills or any elite type of abilities, that what you see is what you kind of get with Brock. And he was doing really nice last year to begin with, but they were thinking there was no room for improvement. But anytime there's been a challenge in Brock's way, whether it was last year or when they said that once they get 5 games of film on, coaches will figure him out. Whatever little challenge, whatever little obstacle you put in his way, he's defeated it, and people have been saying that he's been sitting out after practice, at the end of practice, to work on his deep ball alone, just working on his deep ball alone. In the Arizona game, he had a few nice deep throws, and he's going to add that to his arsenal here and there. So,
Jimmy, holy shit, Jimmy. Hey, see
what
this?
About Jimmy?
He doesn't wait until somebody comes in. They draft somebody for him to work on his long ball. He's just in there working on his long ball because he feel, hey, I need to get better at this. If I could really knock this thing down, maybe coach will let me throw it more.
Yeah, let me say what's up to some people that got here a little later. It's okay, man. Better late than never. I know I probably missed a few people. We got Rick Diaz.
Hey, Rick.
Faithful across the country, across the world. How about those 49ers? Yes, sir. Definitely ain't about them cowgirls. We got who else is here? I know I missed somebody else. There's a lot of comments. Let me see what Randy Daytona is saying. Typed up a long thing. I'll say what's up to Brian in a second. Randy Daytona says we've been used to having great teams and losing. Now we're winning. We don't know what to do. We're only losing those games because we're having injuries, but that seems to have stopped. Yeah, I mean, health is wealth. I do like the depth on this team. I just think at the end of the day, this team is primed and ready. We've smelt it. We've tasted it so many times. Let's seal the deal this time. Let's get it done. We got Bryant Culp. He is here. Says, what's up, faithful?
What's up, BC?
Yeah, Bryant. He may seem like a calm guy, but if you ruffle his feathers, he's a ball of fire. Let's just say that. David McNiner says, what's good, Mariah, Bashar, and let's effing go Niners. So Bryant Culp and David McNiner, they do the 49er Coffee Talk thing. They both have channels of themselves. So check out their channels. And I don't think I missed anybody else, but a lot of comments on what Donald Johnson's saying right here. It says Kittle's been doing the dirty work. He deserved that game big time. It's for anybody that says that Kittle didn't have a good game or Kittle didn't have a good game here and there. They're just looking at his receiving stats, but he's always having a good, if not great game, blocking his ass off. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Facts.
Hi, Tanya.
Oh, Tanya's here. Where's Tanya?
Hey, Tony.
Oh, there she is. Tanya, make him say Al. Says, good evening, fam. Great to have you here. What up, Tony Cope? She says, what's up, Niner Faithful? How about them boys? And Corey Davis is here. What's up, Corey? Definitely check out. Tony's got a channel of her own. Everybody's got a channel. You got a channel.
Yes, she
got
does.
A channel.
Ladies of the Empire Saturday nights at Friday at 5:00.
There you go. Shout out to the Ladies of the Empire. Corey Davis says, hello, 49er family, and hope you all having a wonderful Tuesday. On a Tuesday. It's a victory Tuesday. Oh, got the sound effects going.
Tuesday. Yeah, bro,
thank you, United Sickness. Remind them, let them know, smash the like button. Gotta go do my show, have an awesome show. Appreciate you, man. Good luck with your show. Yeah, it's very important. People don't know this, that the whole idea of hitting the like button might sound dumb and stupid and meaningless. It actually means a lot to content creators. It helps get our videos noticed more, meaning that if I have a video where I put up 500 likes and I'm only getting like 20 likes on it, that video is not going to be suggested across the YouTube platform for people to view it. But if I have a video with 500 likes, and lo and behold, there's about 200, 300 likes on there, that video is going to be all over YouTube. It's going to be suggested for us to watch, for them to watch it. So let everybody know, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend, like our boy always says.
Steve-O.
We have John LaJoy is here. Says, what's up, John? Afterburner says the Cowboys are crybabies. Oh, especially especially Micah Parsons, right? Did you hear what Micah Parsons was saying about Kittle and
Micah that claims to be a bully? He's the softest one of all.
Yeah, he's like, left no, cry later. Who's crying now, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you're gonna cry later too. You know what
And
I'm saying? You got
Kittle took
you
it too personal.
whatever. Shut up and play then. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look, you go talk to your damn coach and say, why you got me up against Trent Williams all day, put me up against McKivitz, let's get some work done.
Yeah, that's
What
so
were you-
stupid.
Like, was he trying to like, we're gonna meet them in the playoffs so that I don't want them, to know that we can move Parsons over to the other side. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, are you trying to play 4D chess on a 2D board, bro? Like, what do you? Because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, they got to worry about making the playoffs first before they're acting like it's going to be a guarantee for them to
Bro.
playoffs or something like that.
Yeah. The way you guys played against us, you just let the league know. You exposed yourself to the league. We didn't do anything. We just showed up and played our style of football. You exposed your damn self.
I'll say this. I've been hooting and hollering about what we should do with the right tackle position, about offensive line depth, who we should have drafted, who we should have signed, blah, 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 blah. McKivitz may not be the answer, but he looked pretty damn good this past game. I don't recall any plays where McKivitz had me cussing or screaming or shaking my head, scratching my head. He looked like he belonged out there.
I think he's done pretty good since week 1. And week 1, he went against TJ Watt, and 98% of the people don't do well against him. So, I mean,
this week will be This week will be another test for him because I'm sure the Browns aren't as dumb as the Dallas Cowboys, and they'll actually put Myles Garrett on McKivitz. So this will be a good test to him. I'm sure McKivitz is going to have some help. I'm sure there's going to be a time where he's going to be one-on-one, and that's what we're going to need to see because this is kind of like, okay, week 1, we give you a pass. That was JJ. You know what I mean? Like, or not, that was TJ. What can we do with you? You know what I mean? Like, we understand that, but this is the real test. And I'm not saying if he does bad that I'm out on him. He's doing pretty good right now, for what things are going. Who knows where he'll be at the end of the season? Brendel wasn't the same as he was week 1 as he was the playoffs in the NFC Championship. So get this man some games under his belt. I bet you he will impress us by the end of the year. I have a feeling.
His pass blocking grade's been way better than McGlinchey. So,
there you go. Great to hear. We got East Coast Red and Gold podcast. It's Jess.
Jess.
Shout out to her. She was at the game.
Yes, she
and
was.
She meets all the players and all the coaches, and because of her, I was able to attend the home opener against the New York Giants, and we were all there in the gold mine section with Brian Cole, David McDiner, Laura Cat, Ty Alston. Who's going to the game? A whole bunch of people were there.
Jess is going to the game.
Yeah, yes. Some love for Jess from John LaJoy. I was going to mention something. Yeah, only 1 sack for the Dallas Cowboys. It was on a blitz by Jaron Kurtz. 1 sack for 2 yards. I'll take that all week. All year long. I'll take that. So shout out to the offensive line. They stepped up big. For all the times that they've been criticized, especially the preseason. This offensive line gets destroyed by the fans, destroyed by the media in the preseason, and for whatever reason in the regular season they find a way to make it happen.
Usually it's later in the season. We've never seen them look that shitty and then come out looking like fire like that. We've never seen that turn around like that between 2 weeks. We've never. Come on.
I forgot to shout your name out, Pete, but I did say your quote, tell a friend to tell a friend, so we can be friends. This is 90 for Natty podcast.
What up, Pete?
Check out his YouTube channel. Says is Ryan DJing. You got the light, the club lights going. You kind of look like you're about to. There you go.
He wishes. Okay.
What's your DJ name?
I don't have a DJ name.
You gotta have a DJ name, man.
No, I wouldn't.
DJ Tall and Smoky.
No.
DJ Smokey's a good one. Smokey. Okay.
I would be an MC, but I just would never be on the mic. Really, you know what I'm saying? I just spin the records and be like, yeah.
And let me mention something about Brock, because this was, because it's week 4, and I thought because of laws and averages and numbers, okay, Brock probably throws a pick this week. Not because he sucks, not because he's bad, I didn't think we were going to lose or anything like that. I predicted a much closer game because we were playing a tough, strong defense,
Right.
Arguably the number 1 defense, and I was thinking 30-20 would be the score, but Brock did not throw a pick. He threw 4 touchdowns. He looked awesome. But ever since Brock Purdy threw his last interception, which was against the Raiders in week 17 of last year, I'm going to give you his numbers from that game till now. So he's 152 of 222. 2,023 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, no picks, and a passer rating of 116.6. So all I gotta say is that's my quarterback.
Damn right. I'm trying to find this thing that my friend had posted earlier comparing Mahomes and Purdy, their numbers. Let me pull it up though real quick. Let me find it.
I haven't looked at the numbers too much because I'm not a huge major stats guy, but the whispers I heard is that Purdy's been in the top 10 or top 5 of most of the categories. And some categories he's better than everybody else. And for me, I'm all about wins and losses more so than stats. I get it. But, the eye test is also a huge thing for me more so than stats. My eyes were telling me a lot. And even when Purdy, I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. For example, in the Rams game when he was overthrowing people, I wasn't panicking. I was like, you know what? I'm glad Purdy's trying that deep ball out. At least he's letting the defense know, hey, we have more in our bag than just, they think that all he can do is dink and dunk or whatever crap like that, which is BS.
Respect it.
Yeah, like, hey, we could possibly throw deep on you. And then he finally connected to Jennings down the field. In the Giants game too, when I was at the Giants game, I wasn't freaking out. 5 for 14, and it's all about. I knew eventually he'd pull it off. The Giants game, he ended up having 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had some really nice throws. And it's nothing about Brock's game. He's so calm, cool, collective in general. Even when he's playing "quote unquote" bad, it's nothing about him that makes me think he's going to have a bad game or be a bad quarterback for us. And I think the way what he did in this last game, he's in the argument for top 10 right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. They're like the spaces, that they do for all NFL fans. They've been talking about it a lot, and a lot of people have them in top 5 discussions right now. So,
which I think is reasonable.
Yeah,
but between 10 and 5, I think and in the top, that's reasonable. You can. Sorry, go ahead.
So this is through the last 13 games. She said, why is this not being talked about, Purdy and Mahomes, through the last 13 games, including postseason? So the record, Purdy's 13-0 compared to Mahomes 12-1. The completion percentage, Purdy's 69.6%. Mahomes is 69.3%. Purdy passing yards per game, Purdy is 245.4. Mahomes is 264. Touchdown interception ratio, Purdy's 25-4. Mahomes is 28-8. Passer rating, Purdy's 115.7. Mahomes is 103.6.
It's a lot of numbers for you, but all I'm saying is, he's getting the job done.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at his interception to touchdown ratio, he's doing way better. Well, and it's not like way better, but you're talking about with what was it, 4 less touchdowns. He threw 4 less interceptions.
5, 6, 7, 8. 3 less touchdowns, 4 less interceptions.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like twice as good. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I see that.
And that's one of the biggest things about Purdy is that he takes care of the ball. I'm not worried. I'm not here shitting my pants all fucking game, worried about, what my quarterback's going to do every time he drops back. Like I was with freaking the last 3, 4, 5 fucking years.
and it's funny because Jimmy had the label as a game manager at times. And it's like a game manager takes care of the football and doesn't panic, right? He didn't even have that aspect to his game, But with Purdy, you get the game manager aspect of his game, but then you also get the playmaker part as well. You get the guy who doesn't give a fuck about throwing the ball in tight windows, throwing the ball into whatever coverages, and throwing the ball downfield.
He's got a lot of trust in his guys, which is half the reason why he does so well. And the other half is the trust in the system. You're talking about how he protects the ball. The reason he does so well as far as protecting the ball is he's sold out on the system. And when he sees let's say the linebacker or the safety move off the route that he's going for, he knows that unless somebody else is doing something they shouldn't be on the defense, you know what I mean? That's open, and he just slings it when his back foot hits the ground. And that's how you take care of the ball, is you run the system correctly. In Kyle Shanahan's system, you run the system correctly. The best way to do it is to hit it in the first window. That's how you take care of the ball better. You know what I mean? If you have to hit him in the second window, that's when other things can happen. And if you notice, that's usually when people get tackled kind of after they catch the ball. In the first window, that's when they get the good run after the catch. So that's what I've seen as far as looking at tape and all that. It just seems that if you hit people in the first window, like he does a lot, and that's why you see in the wide receivers catching on the run.
Mm-hmm.
He always hits people in stride. I mean,
yeah,
the time
every once in a while it's
there.
behind. Yeah. Every once in a while it's behind, but like, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
he can get better with that over time with the same guys that he plays with. He'll get a better feeling. So we're good. It doesn't happen all the time. It's not like a big knock. It's just one of those things. Hey, yeah, he does that too. But there's so much other production going on that he can't really, point at that and go, why'd you do that?
And it looks like we're finally seeing the real Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he's getting the ball downfield in stride on plays. He looks like he's going to break it. He looks like he's going to break a touchdown open almost every other time he gets the ball. Mm-hmm. Debo, same with Debo, man. Debo's doing a nice job too. So Ayuk had 4 catches for 58 yards, 14.5 per reception. Debo, three receptions for 55 yards, 18.3. Both very similar games. Kittle, 3 receptions for 67 yards, all 3 of them for TDs. Just the way the ball was spread around was really nice, and we didn't necessarily have to throw for too many yards either. But yeah, man, I mean, this, the way Purdy kind of gets knocked by some 49er fans or just some fans in general, just eventually, it's only week 5, but eventually I think people will say, hey, this guy's a top 10 quarterback. And I also tweeted during the game, like, yeah, he looks like he may be a top 10 quarterback now, but he might be saying, hey, put me in the top 5 argument as well. So people were saying that he might be top 5 in the chat too. So yeah, anything else you guys want to touch on about the game? I know McNiner said something funny about Micah Parsons in the chat. I'll show you really quick.
I want to say why I think you can talk about Brock Purdy as far as a top 5 quarterback. What does a top 5 quarterback do? He gets you wins. Top 5 quarterback gets you wins. He gets you through. Now, he hasn't been in a situation where he's really had to bring us back yet, because the offense works so well just normally that we don't have these deficits where we get down and have to do these game-winning drives essentially. So to me, because that's the other thing about top 5 quarterbacks is being able to do game-winning drives. But if you're in the driver's seat the whole time and by the end of the game you got your backup in, that means you're winning. You know what I mean? So there is a case for him to be a top 5 quarterback in the talk for one.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got stats too. You know what I mean? Like, he's got stats, but just the sheer knack of just handling the business on the field. Like, if you just watch it, he's doing a great job.
Yeah,
he sure is, dude. And he's doing everything right, and total team first guy. So he's very humble. I mean, I can go down the line in terms of trying to compliment Purdy because he's just it's a solid guy off the field.
He has great games, and he'll talk about how he can get better in the presser afterwards. You know what I mean? And then talk about how great his guys are doing. That's what I want a quarterback to do. If there's anything that needs to be, if he needs to take accountability for something, hey, Brock Purdy does it. James, Richard Garoppolo. Just saying.
Did you guys see him hugging it out with Trey Lance after the game?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it before the game? I forgot. Yeah.
Well, also, and then there was, who was it? Was it Banks or Burford? One of them was over there.
Yeah,
and Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle wanted to make sure he got a good hug. Yeah.
Yeah, Kittle and Ayuk. Yeah. So that's, I mean, it's a business, you know what I mean? Players come and go, and you develop these friendships, and, no hard feelings, but, sometimes you have
Trey
to move
might
on.
be a winner.
Yeah, I just think he needs to get off the Cowboys. It doesn't seem like
I
a
don't
good
want
situation for
I
him.
don't want him being a winner on the Cowboys. I want Trey to do great, but just not on the Cowboys, please. I can't.
Steve-O says, I gotta tell Jesse Trent was chipping plays. Be right back. All right, we'll let him know. No border talking like he do. Steve-O says no border talking like he watched film. All right, you got to be like Singletary. You're gonna go back and watch the film. We had this question looming in the chat, and we'll address this question after that. I want to talk about the linebackers and a little bit of the 49er defense, and we'll carry on. So Corey Davis, 49er minded. How do you feel about Randy Gregory? Fired up 49er says, what are your thoughts on Randy Gregory backing up Bosa instead of playing opposite him? What do you guys think about this Randy Gregory move in general?
I like it.
Yeah, I love it. The Broncos are paying, the part of his salary that was guaranteed. We're only paying him, a handful of freaking dollars. So that's even better. The part about him, backing up Bosa instead of be listed, across from him. I like that. First of all, it doesn't matter where they're listed because the 49ers put so many different packages out there. Bosa plays all over the line. He doesn't just play on the side that he's listed. And we know that, guys are coming in and coming out. I'm glad they didn't just list him opposite Bosa as a starter. You're not going to list him as a starter over guys that have been competing in camp from day one. And then you have a guy that's, you're just going to have come in and all of a sudden act like he's proven over your guys that have been here. Like I would have been kind of feeling some way about that. You don't just list him over Drake Jackson and stuff, the guys that have been here. So I think that's right for him to be listed as a backup. And like I said, he'll be playing across from Bosa. He'll be playing backing up Bosa. He'll be playing, all different. I could give a shit less how they're listed on there.
How about you, Ryan?
Well, and to her point, like if he's going to be something on this team, everybody in that room will know and they'll be okay with it because they want to win a fucking championship. Right? Everybody understands their place, and it's to make sure they're there to help the team. And if helping the team is being a backup when you were essentially the other starter, that's what you got to do if you want to get one of them big clunky rings on your finger.
It's all about the rings. Put a ring on it, like Beyonce said.
Hey, he's here for speed. He's here for speed. That's why he's here. He's here for speed. He's trying to what I call it is the hammer and the anvil.
Yeah, I mean,
Nick Bosa is the anvil, and Gregory is going to be one of our swappable hammers.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got Robert Beal Jr. earlier this year. He's injured, but we got him because of his freakish speed.
I hope he comes back soon.
Yeah, it'd be nice
to see what he can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see what Robert Beal Jr. can do. He wasn't really there much in training camp. Wasn't there in the preseason, so it's a huge question mark. But he's got all this speed coming off the edge, and hopefully it translates to NFL. We don't know yet. Last year we had a nice package of backup pass rushers though. Ibukam was a starter, right? Jordan Willis, and we had Charles Omenihu. Those guys were a nice collective group. When Willis was cut by the Raiders, I was like, bring him in. A lot of people were saying that Jordan Willis is better than a lot of the reserves that we have. Bring him in and have him get rid of somebody else, to have him take over. We didn't pick up Jordan Willis. So we did great Randy Gregory. Now, I wasn't a guy who sat and watched Randy Gregory throughout his career. A few of my friends have, and they were texting me saying that, there's rumors that Randy Gregory might be released from the Denver Broncos. He used to play for the Cowboys. I looked up his career stats. His best seasons were 6 sacks apiece. He had one, but basically both of them were with the Dallas Cowboys. And he was hurt last year. He's had some off the field issues. He's been suspended. I think one of the things he was suspended for was marijuana, which isn't that big of a deal in my opinion. But I was actually talking to some Denver Broncos fans the other night on Twitter Spaces, out of all places. I hadn't been on there in a while, and was just talking to some Broncos fans in the 49er space, and they were truthfully. This is from what they were saying. They thought like, oh man, you guys got Greg. The way they were talking, they're like, oh, you guys got Randy Gregory, man. You guys got him. He's gonna be good for you guys. Like, oh, when we had Bradley Chubb, I thought Randy Gregory was our second best pass rusher, and I liked Randy Gregory a whole lot when we had him. And they were saying some good things about him, so. I'm hoping he could pan out for us. I'm hoping he could do something. He ran a 4.6 40. Some people were saying that he looked like he could have been a first round draft pick, but I mean, he was drafted in the second round. So again, that whole Chris Koceric thing, like, can he work his magic with these guys who are cast-offs from other teams? I mean, Clelin Ferrell was the 4th pick overall. We still haven't seen much from Clelin Ferrell so far. He's okay in the run game, but not much in the pass rush. And we got Austin Bryant
up in camp.
Yeah, he really was. Austin Bryant's there. He's kind of a speed guy, and he was on the Lions, and we have him, but we haven't seen him do much as a Niners. So hopefully Randy Gregory can step up or make these other guys step up with the whole iron sharpens iron thing and just get them more motivated to compete each other, because we need somebody to step up. It can't be just Bosa. It can't be just Hargrave and nobody else.
Well, you got Kinlaw stepping up.
Kinlaw's doing nice. He's doing nice. There was a clip, Brad Graham from DSF Niners put it out on Twitter, and it was a clip of some Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman holding Kinlaw, and he was he was getting so frustrated he kind of pulled a Trent Williams on him, where he grabbed his shoulder pads and threw him to the ground, basically. So I was like, okay, good job, Kinlaw.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, for those who have ragged on Kinlaw in the past, this has been. I mean, he's not registering huge tackles for losses. He's not getting the sacks. You don't really see him batting down passes, but when you go back and sit back and watch, he's either getting doubled or he's beating his man and getting somewhere in the backfield. So he's making his presence felt.
Yeah, and that's what I said. The biggest thing from him, like, he's not a guy, his job isn't to be getting sacks. If he gets sacks additional to what his job is, great. But his job's to stop the run and eat up the double teams. And I think we're getting more of that this season than we've ever got from him in the past. So, it's not stuff that's going to, be on the, stat board with all this, fancy stats. But as long as he's eating up those double teams and freeing up the rest of the line so that they can get home and do what they got to do, that's what we need.
That's all I needed from this whole time.
Yeah. And I know he was drafted in the first round, so people had their expectations, and and not to his fault. He had no control over, but we did have DeForest Buckner, who we were trying to sign, that we traded over, and so DeForest Buckner is like a Pro Bowl / All Pro type player, and and on top of it, did it help that he wore the same jersey as Buckner? So the comparisons were there, and he had to replace somebody like that. It's tough, man. Fired up 49ers said Kinlaw had Grant Cohn on the brain last year. Maybe, hopefully he doesn't. If he does still have him on his brain, hopefully he uses it to motivate himself some way, somehow. But yeah, like you said, he's been stepping up his game. I get that. He's got a pretty decent PFF score throughout the first few weeks of the season. I know people don't regard PFF as the gospel, but if you compared it's much higher than it was compared to last year. That's all I got to say. And then the other Javon Hargrave, who we did sign him. We signed him, but he was more known for his pass rushing abilities with the Eagles. Some people said that he wasn't a good run defender, and so far with the 49ers, man, this guy's stopping the run.
He does a good job. Joe Stevens, we were watching the game the other day, and Joe Stevens like, who's that number 98? He's like, I'd cut him. He just let a guy run right past him, and then it was like a couple plays later, he tackles running back for loss in the backfield, and I'm like, that guy, Joe, that guy right there.
Oh, you're gonna find out the hard ways, Joe Stevens, when we play the Seahawks, man. We play Seattle.
You'll find out the hard way about Hargrave when we play you, bruh.
Oh, that rhymes, man. You got the little swag there.
Did I, Steve?
Joe Stevens.
I haven't looked at it, Steve. I didn't know. I usually don't look until it's like Saturday at 3 a.m, and I gotta set my lineup.
So you guys are all in the same fantasy league?
Yeah, there's one that they put together for like a lot of the content creators are on there, I think.
Okay. So who's the one who started up? Who do you know?
I think Bay Baller or
okay.
I don't know.
It's probably Baller.
Yeah. I was just thinking about all the. Go ahead.
Baller's probably a big fantasy guy, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, I could tell. I've talked to him.
He probably took lead on that.
I did fantasy for 3 years, and I just said, you know what? I don't know, maybe I'm too old school for it. I just feel like I've touched my phone enough as it is, and when you're on fantasy, you are on your phone about 5 times more than regular.
Yes.
And then on top of that, my players were always getting hurt the last year I played, and I don't know, and I had to care and follow too much about what's going on around the league, and I don't know. I'm not trying to hate on it or anything like that. For those who play and have fun with it, that's cool. no problem with that. It's just not for me. That's all. That's how
I'm
I
a
look at it.
football fan in general, so I watch a lot of football, not just 49ers football. And yeah, so I already am watching all that football. I already know all the players on the other team, so it's something that I love.
Do you have the Red Zone network?
No.
Okay. I never had Red Zone. I have had Red Zone as a preview. Basically, I never paid for the channel, but I did have it around the time when I was doing fantasy. And I'll say this: Red Zone, for those that do play fantasy, Red Zone Network is like the perfect thing for fantasy football people out there. It's pretty awesome, actually. It's pretty badass. And if you do want to follow the rest of the league, the Red Zone Network is just perfect because you don't have to sit there and jump around to different channels. It just does everything for you. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, little shout out to the NFL Red Zone Network. So anything else you guys want to touch on about the Dallas game? I know CD Lamb didn't really play up to par.
Didn't do shit, just along with everybody else. The only buddy that ever did anything in that game was Gallup, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably their tight end kept getting a couple of passes here and there too. But
yeah, he had one really nice play. Why am I forgetting his name? I'll tell you his name in a second. He's supposed to be one of the better tight ends in the league. Jake Ferguson, that's his name. Well, what about the whole thing where I know Ted was saying this too, and a few other people, a lot of Cowboys were saying this too. Like, oh, well, when we played and it was a close game last time. I get it. When we played the Cowboys last time, Tony Pollard got hurt. That changed everything. That changed. I didn't see Tony Pollard doing anything that really impressed me. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't.
I think we've got a different line this year. And I think that's apparent. And that I think he got stifled this year. He was running on us a little bit last year until he got injured. And I just think maybe something has changed because I wouldn't expect him to have different results this game, but somehow maybe it's the personnel. Maybe Kinlaw was actually, doing good enough, and that was the table turning. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, so it's gonna be funny to see. I mean, where the Cowboys are gonna be at for the rest of the season. Who knows? Maybe they're like a 9-7 type team or 8-9 type team. They thought they got off to a pretty good start, but it looks like once they play like a real team like us, that we kind of humbled them. But maybe they turn it around, and they're the type of team that does well against teams like the Eagles because the Eagles are in their division, and yeah, we struggle with the Eagles. So who knows? It's kind of a funky little team, Dallas. But Dallas, in terms of when push comes to shove, we're gonna bully them, and they're gonna be finesse, and we're gonna come out on top. That's all it is with Dallas and any other team who's like a finesse type team. And I think we're kind of finesse and a bully type team. We're a little combination of both. So yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. Go ahead.
We have to be both. That's like the doctrine of 49ers success is you have to be extremely efficient with the system and do everything correctly. And when you do it, you have to do it physical as fuck. That's the rules. That's the scheme. That's the outline. Mariah, do you think there's any other blueprint for success in the 49ers other than that?
What? I didn't hear nothing that was said. I wasn't here.
Oh, just being physical. And what was the other word you used to describe it?
Well, there's finesse and there's physical type bully type teams.
We have to be physical and finesse both at the same time. That's 49ers football.
Yeah, I agree.
She agrees. She said, Siva said, I heard 49ers fans were chanting for Trey. Yeah, Terry Dunn was at the game. He said that he was doing that, and they're having fun with it. I didn't think Lance was going to play. Cooper Rush has always been their number 2 since Lance has gotten there. Yeah. He's known the playbook he's just the guy ahead of him. That's all. He's been there way longer.
First thing, why are you going to insult, disrespect your second string quarterback like that, essentially, for the team that just blew you out, and it's your rival that you know what I mean? There's no reason they would do it.
And plus, Trey Lance is their emergency guy. He's not even active. The only way he can even play is if Dak and Cooper Rush both get hurt and are unable to come back to the game.
Mariah with the knowledge.
So people that are calling for Trey thinking they were just going to put Trey in, like that that's not even possible.
Unless we somehow, knocked out both quarterbacks. Yeah, one player or something. That would be funny.
Which I wouldn't want to happen. at all.
Hey, speaking of which, every time the announcers that was saying Collinsworth or whoever, they were like, "Oh, there's a player down in the field." I was like, "Oh shit, another 49er injury." And for whatever weird reason, it was each and every time it was a Cowboy player. Not that I want players to get hurt or anything, but they were saying somebody was hurt, and that, hey, Niner players were healthy and they weren't getting hurt. Banks did get hurt for a bit though, and he's got a day-to-day injury. I get that. You know what? In his absence, though, Feliciano looked like he belonged out there. Remember, I went back to the O-line, how a lot of people looked like garbage in the preseason, and all these new people we picked up look terrible. And then you throw them in a regular season game, and they fit right in. It's so weird. Yep. So we got the one more thing I wanted to mention. I mentioned CeeDee Lamb earlier. Isaiah Oliver bounced back after that touchdown after getting burnt, and he held CeeDee Lamb, pretty much the whole game, and other guys too, not just him. But CeeDee Lamb was a non-factor. 4 catches, 49 yards, 12.2 yards a catch. Actually, my bad. It was Turpin that got the touchdown. Cavante Turpin, he's the one that beat Oliver. But yeah, so Dallas is done. We do play him again. Whatever down the road, I'm not too worried about it. No, I'll be cocky, but I know our team is just that much better than them. There's nowhere else to put it. We got Steve-O says, I say let's trade for Cooper Kupp. Is that who you're saying? Okay, you want to trade for Cooper Kupp, huh? Now I noticed that the trade talks kind of died down a bit in terms of who the Niners should get and all this after this huge blowout win. We did trade for Randy Gregory. Now it was kind of like a cheapo type trade. We mentioned it earlier. We only gave the 7th rounder, 6th rounder. Sorry, and we got a 7th rounder in return. Pay him the league minimum. So we'll see how that pans out. And he's going to play in the Cleveland Brown game. He didn't play in this past game, but he's going to play against the Cleveland Browns, who have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. We're playing in Cleveland. It's going to rain, from what I understand. John V might be going to the game. One of my really good friends, Fiston, is going to be at the game, who's the cousin of Simba Webster. I just texted me today, and
Simba Webster.
Yep. Yeah, he was telling me about Simba Webster way back in his high school days. He's like, "Oh, you got to check this guy out."
All right, I'll crush on this Simba.
Yeah, he was fun to watch in the return game. I was at that game.
Fun.
Well, it was Trey Lance's first game in the preseason against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Simba Webster had himself some nice returns in that game, and he was doing well.
I thought it was Simba.
Well, they do it. His brother has a name like that too, where there's an N in front of it, and he's they're from Congo, Congolese. And for whatever reason, their names have an N in front of their names, but the N is silent. So
okay,
yeah, I know, it's funny. I know you see it spelled out like that, you want to pronounce it right. So yeah,
Simba still sounds cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's cool either way.
Simba, obviously, Simba's obviously
from
always
Lion
King,
good. Right?
Yeah.
You got no. That's a really bad impression.
Man, how to be in with the chicks from minute one. What's your name? My name's Simba. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Go back to their childhood immediately. I want to be your Nala. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, let's do this.
So Fired Up 49ers says Broncos are asking a lot for Surtain. I'll pass. Yeah, we have a good relationship with the Broncos, but I don't think they're going to give him up for cheap, even if we did try to trade for him. I'm not, I like Diamador Lenore. We have Darrell Luter Jr. coming back, who I've been dying to see. Hopefully he comes back soon. Samuel Womack. Maybe these guys as a collective group will do good. Maybe the pass rush picks up and it helps out whenever we are in zone, because if the pass rush is fine in zone, we'll do just fine in zone coverage. So who knows what we do. Dan the Core Man, what up? Says, hey fellas, can't stay for long, but it's okay. Bashar, can I advertise my channel? Yeah, go ahead. Whatever, that's fine. You're a loyal viewer. We appreciate you. Fired Up 49er says Oliver might have gotten over his cold start. Hopefully, a lot of people are dogging on Oliver. He's got to produce at the very end of the day, though. He's just got to produce, and at times he looks pretty good. Randy Daytona says Oliver is a solid slot. Go ahead.
Oliver was there to stop the run. What was the game plan? Stop the run, make Dak pass. So he was there to stop the run. That's why he's on this team. We figured that out a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? So whatever's clever. What I've noticed from Wilkes, he uses everybody. He's got like an idea of what everybody's good at, and he interchanges them in certain situations, and everybody somehow knows what the hell's going on. Like in the past, we've seen like just the same guys in there unless somebody gets hurt, right? Obviously, you go from base to nickel, and personnel change, but everybody else is the same. Steve Wilkes, not so much. He's like, no, we're gonna do this, which if it keeps people guessing and it doesn't open up gaps at times or this or that, then I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? I don't mind people moving around. I just want to make sure we don't have holes at any point in time. And if you want to get fancy, I don't like fancy all the time because shit happens when you start getting fancy. But
fancy schmancy.
I'm just saying, I like a basic scheme on defense that's kind of like everybody knows the rules to, all else fails, cover the man in front of you. You know what I mean? Or in your area, just cover the guy.
One guy who is not basic is Fred Warner. Emmanuel Acho put out a video on Twitter about how this guy's a generational talent, generational player. He's a former NFL player himself, and he pointed out that play. I was going to mention linebackers earlier, and I forgot. It's good that you reminded me. He showed a play where there was some receiver on the left-hand side that Dak Prescott was trying to throw to, and Warner was in the vicinity, so he wasn't going to throw there. So he kind of pump faked, and next thing you know, after that pump fake, Warner just blitzed in there and freaking sacked him. Yeah, it was just a thing of beauty.
So I watched Fred Warner actually explain this play. So they're running two drags, two crossers in the middle of the field, and they're trying to get a rub on the defenders. So Fred he's looking at one area kind of, and he sees the one thing happen. Then he sees, I think, CD coming from the other side. So he knows exactly what's going on. So he knows he has to get in front, because when he does that, he now cuts off the underneath man. Totally cuts off the underneath man. Cock blocks the shit out of it. And then at that point, he knows after a couple of steps, that man's now still covered by the guy who's supposed to cover him before. So now he could break off while staying in the passing lane, shutting off Dak's chances to get the ball out. And obviously Dak's not smart enough to take a look around. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that there was anything there, but I'm sorry. I would have taken a look around, sidestepped, thrown at the feet of somebody. You know what I mean? He was outside the pocket. Like, Dak, if you're really a great quarterback, figure out what's going on. Situational awareness, homie. Like, it's Fred made a great play. It was sick.
He made a lot of great plays, and so did Greenlaw. Greenlaw just came in there so reckless, and he was just being himself, which is always a thing of beauty. This linebacker duo, man, I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it more and more because they deserve it. I mean, I haven't seen a better linebacker duo since the days of Bowman and Willis, and some people say they might be on par. Who knows if they're better, but it's a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully we have them for a long time.
I figured it out. You know how they keep trying to catch Predator?
Yeah.
That's Fred Warner.
Yeah. Steve-O says, do you gritty?
He does that other shit in the jungle for fun. You know what I mean? That's like vacation for him. He got the hair too, the dreads. I'm telling you.
Steve-O says, do you gritty? When Kittle got one of those touchdowns, they were doing the gritty. I know that. Forgot who else was doing it with him. Oh, damn, Mariah. It's okay, Mariah. I don't hear them if that's the case. It's all good, but I think she stepped away for a second. All good. And yeah, we're playing the Browns. So, I mean, yeah, shout out to Fred Warner and then Greenlaw. They're doing awesome this year. And we're going to talk about the Browns just for a little bit. I mean, I hate to say it, but there's not much to say about this Browns team. I mean, statistically, they're not really opening up anybody's eyes. I mean, their leading receiver, Amari Cooper, who I thought was pretty good on the Raiders, who I actually wanted the 49ers to draft. He's 29 years old now. I'm not saying he's old, but he's a little older in his career.
Turned 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy birthday, Kittle.
Happy birthday to Kittle. 259 yards receiving for the season for Amari Cooper. Only one touchdown. Let's see who else is receiving. I mean, their only other receiver with multiple touchdowns is Jerome Ford, the running back, and he's got 2 touchdowns on the season. They're not really doing much offensively. This Deshaun Watson-led team. I don't know. Deshaun Watson himself got 4 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions through 3 games starting, and Dorian Thompson, Ward Robinson, I guess had to start 1 game. Looks like it, and he didn't really do much either. He threw three interceptions. I remember a lot of Niner fans were pissed and talking shit, saying, why didn't we draft Dorian Thompson-Robinson? He's way better. A lot of Trey Lance haters were saying he's way better than Trey Lance. And here he goes. He starts again. He throws 3 picks, no touchdowns, kind of like what Jordan Love just did. But it's, I normally don't want to be too cocky about a team, but this Cleveland Browns squad offensively hasn't shown me much to be worried about. I don't know about you. I mean, Nick Chubb's out too, man.
Yeah, Chubb. They got Kareem Hunt back. I haven't watched any of his tape. Has he played since he's essentially been back? One game?
I believe he did. I was reading up about Kareem Hunt. I'll tell you in a second, because I hear he doesn't look like the same guy either.
I wouldn't think you would come back in week 1 or 2 back and look anything like that. I think you would have to be like 6-7 games in.
Yeah. So Kareem Hunt's only had 10 rushes this season for 25 yards. So yeah, just they've had a few other running backs. Pierre Strong, 13 touches for 77 yards.
So,
Jerome Ford is the guy who's taken over for Nick Chubb, basically.
If I'm not mistaken, they got some big guys, and they like to get in bigger formations and run the ball. That might be a little bit of an issue for us at times, maybe in the start of the game. But we've seen Steve Wilkes go to like a 5-man front and whatnot in times. So I'm not really worried about their run game. I feel that Steve Wilkes, Chris Kosurik will come up with a game plan to neutralize the run game somewhere for him. Maybe not totally neutralize them, but make it so it's not like 3.3 yards a carry to the point where you can sustain a drive with it. So we will force them to have to pass, and then that I think will probably go horribly for them.
Yeah, and they do have that right tackle that I wanted us to draft in round 3, DeJuan Jones. That guy's a mountain of a man. He's huge. Some people say that he's a little slow and that he's about 370 pounds. So it's gonna be.
That's why Kyle wouldn't draft him for the right tackle, though.
Yeah, because Kyle likes to have those guys move out and move around a lot too, and I get it. We do a lot of that in our offense. So.
Like I said with the defensive ends, your anvil and your hammer.
There you go.
There's a lot of military tactics where you kind of use that.
And now we have a faster guy in the mix, Randy Gregory. Austin Bryant's got some speed. We haven't really used him much, but still waiting to see Drake Jackson step up. He had a little scare in this Cowboys game where he was down on the ground and hurt for a second. I don't know if he got his wind knocked out of him. I don't know what happened, but he ended up getting up. And again, I think the worst injury we had in the game was Aaron Banks. And I mentioned earlier, Feliciano stepped in and played well in his absence. I believe Banks has some type of bicep injury, and it's his day-to-day type injury, so he'll probably play.
Yes, but it's not what they thought it was, which would have been multiple games. So I would probably sit him this week.
This is a game where you could probably sit a lot of players. I mean, I wouldn't do it.
What I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it necessarily too much off the bat, but if we build a pretty comfortable lead, hey, why not just sit some of these guys? Steve-O says the boombox guy is undefeated. Okay, you got to carry that boombox. Shout out the 49er playlist. He carries the bump box at the Niner games and the tailgates and stuff like that. Good buddy of mine who's been in the chat. Their defense, I'm not sure what their rankings are. I could look up their rankings really quick, but Myles Garrett is definitely somebody that you always have to account for. Excellent pass rusher. He's got 5.5 sacks on the season so far. 5 tackles for losses, 13 quarterback hits. So definitely somebody you got to look out for. There's another guy. He's got about 2.5 sacks. If I can say his name right, Ogbonia Okorowanko. I'm totally butchering his name. But the guy's Darius Smith. Definitely familiar with who he is. He's just not that productive so far early in the season, but. Yeah, I mean, this Cleveland Browns defense, I'm assuming it should be better in the offense, but I'll check with their ranking. What do you think about their defense?
So we just beat the Dallas Cowboys, who are supposedly better, right? I think they are. So if we can smack the Dallas Cowboys defense, I'm sure we'll be able to handle the Browns defense. This is the way I see it too. Like, their offense, I don't see their offense spending much time on the field. So I think whether we're doing great or not, we'll have the ball most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
So statistically, in terms of yards allowed, the Browns are actually pretty damn good on defense. They're actually number one in the league in terms of yardage given
Who
up.
have they played?
Let me check the schedule. But as far as touchdowns allowed, they've allowed the same amount of touchdowns as the Niners. So they've only given up 7 touchdowns all year, just like we have. But let me just see who they played. Hang on. So statistically on defense, those two stats do jump out at me as being impressive. And again, I'm not somebody who sits down and watches the Cleveland Browns throughout the NFL
Right,
season.
but it has more weight if the teams they've played have been good teams, which I don't remember it.
Yeah, so they did beat the Bengals 24-3.
But we know the Bengals were shit.
Yeah,
like it wasn't necessarily
I mean, Burrow wasn't
their
Burrow
defense.
by then.
Yeah, their defense didn't really do anything. The Bengals offense didn't do anything.
That's a funny comment. So the Steelers game was 26-22. So and then the Titans game, Browns won 27-3. Okay. And in the
let's be fair, the Titans offense isn't a high scoring offense.
Yeah, it's not.
They
fell off.
Well, but their offense takes time off the clock. You know what I mean? And they just go down. They were like us of their time management, clock management, all that stuff is kind of like what ours was kind of like. We just run the ball 5 yards at a time, 6 yards at a time, 4, 3.
And more recently, though, the Baltimore Ravens had their way with them 28-3. So the Browns are a 2-2 team. I don't want to take them too lightly. We did lose to the Atlanta Falcons last year. I mean, we're right now. You can say we're a powerhouse. We finally have an offense that matches our defense. We finally have a quarterback that teams can possibly fear. So it's going to be a different dynamic, obviously more so than other seasons. But anything can happen on any given Sunday. So it's going to be very interesting. Shout out to I think John V's might be going to the game too. I mentioned my friend Fiston. John V said he might go as well. So it's going to be interesting.
I hope you get to go, John.
Yeah, he says he has tickets, but he's a little wary of the weather. It's going to be raining, so we all know how those raining games.
Bro, is that the only thing? Oh, come on. Don't let that stop you, bro.
Well, for somebody that lives in Ohio, I mean, I figure it wouldn't be that big of a deal, But
I'm from Washington. Like I'll go outside in shorts and a t-shirt in the rain. I got no problems.
Got it. So Mariah actually had to go. I forgot to she didn't get a chance to say bye, but she sent me a little message. No problem, Mariah. We got you. Life gets in the way.
Got you, Mariah.
And we're actually wrapping up the show right now anyway, so she picked a good time to leave. And let me just catch up with a little bit in the chat before we get going. And Randy Daytona says, I think Dak has reached Russell Wilson status on this team. Win status. the current Russell Wilson, that is. Yeah. He's not looking too good. Here we go. Steve-O says if the Cowboys were better, they would have been favored. Randy Daytona says Dak has no marbles in that locker room. Micah looks like a fool. Let's see what else. Alice is dying inside. We get that. If I'm CD, I'd ask for a trade. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so let's I don't know if you have a score prediction for this game. It's a bit early in the week, but why not? Since this is our Bring the Heat podcast, why not just do a little score prediction?
Oh yeah. Hey, we gotta write these down. Oh, where's Mariah? She needs it.
You know what? I'll get my notepad. Too bad Mariah's not here, but she can always text us in our group chat. And I can I have my notepad on my computer. Actually, I'll just take a little note of our predictions and 49ers Browns predictions. Let's do this. Predictions.
I'm gonna go 35 to 6.
All right, so you're 35-6. We got 35-6. Okay, so I'm gonna say maybe because of the rainy conditions, we take it a little easy on the score. I'm gonna say 33-10. So we'll see how it is. Who knows what's going to happen in this game. It's always nice to throw out little predictions. And when people get close, it's always nice to go back and review those scores. Again, appreciate everybody in the chat. We had a whole bunch of people up in here earlier. They're very early. They're waiting patiently for the show to start. But we had a good amount of people at one point. Right now, it kind of dwindled down a little bit. No worries. Now's around the time when people get to eat dinner and spend time with the family. But I do appreciate each and every one of everybody who's watching right now. Or if you're going to watch on the replay, a lot of people watch later. Sometimes my views on my videos just triple or quadruple a few days later. I forgot to mention Master Andy Kraft, a good friend of mine over in Dallas, actually, big Niner fan, says, I think they will play conservative and run the ball more. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect them really showing their cards so much in this game, especially if they know they're going to have an upper hand and they won't necessarily need to act like a juggernaut. When you're on the national stage against the Cowboys, Kyle gets hyped up for those type of games and he wants to make a statement. I'm sure, we saw that razzle dazzle flea flicker to Kittle, right? I mean, we're not going to see that play in this Browns game. We're definitely not.
Wait, Kittle also said that Kyle brought in plays from last year's divisional game so they could use them this game. So Kyle likes to kind of like, remember this bitch?
Yeah, I like what Kyle's doing this year so far. Hopefully he can sustain it. A lot of people ragged on Kyle when it came to big time close games or important games and say Kyle gets flustered and he loses his mind and makes bad decisions under pressure and he cracks under pressure. So hopefully Kyle can defeat that. I know Kyle gets he gets a lot of respect in the league, but he does get ragged on by certain fans and certain people criticize him, including myself. And so it's a clean slate right now. So we're gonna see where we go with that.
I think with what he's got in Purdy, I think he'll feel that he can relax a little bit more. Just what's a good play that I like? That one? Okay. Purdy, go do that. That's the play that I like. Go execute it. I think that's instead of him going, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? Like Purdy's smart enough. He can check down. He can hot right. He was what was it? I can't remember the play, but it was Juice was essentially the hot route. That's like the first guy you should go to. But what he noticed was, I think it was the linebacker. The linebacker wasn't in his area or the safety wasn't in the spot. So he knew that the corner was going to have to, or the safety was going to have to come over and cover him. So he knew that when he threw the deeper route, it was going to be open because the cornerback was going to have outside leverage. So therefore, it was just like an easy pick or an easy pass. So that's the type of shit that he's doing on his own. He's reading the defenses and he's checking off the hot route and just going straight to the better play, even though the hot route's totally open.
And I remember on one of my TED Talks ball with Bash and Ted shows, it was Ted and I talking. I was saying like how I love the way Purdy can, with his pre-snap reads, can diagnose the blitz and execute properly when he is blitz. And right away, Ted's like,
blitz is crazy.
Ted's like, yeah, well, all these NFL teams, they have hot routes. They have hot routes. Yeah, well, they have hot routes, but executing it and knowing what's going to happen are two completely different things. I'm sure every team has hot routes designed on plays or blitzes, but how many quarterbacks are good at finding the right guy when push comes to shove? I mean, and Purdy looks like the blitz does not affect him at all. Unlike another quarterback that we had taking a lot of snaps for us at one point. It's a thing of beauty. I love it. Hopefully I really think it's going to be consistent and we're going to see this for the rest of the season throughout his career. And we've seen this guy get better. He's currently getting better. Some people think that he didn't have a ceiling at all. And including myself last year, I thought because he didn't have an elite skill set, I thought, okay, Purdy, the guy that we saw from Purdy last year is who we're going to see pretty much this year or in the years after. But I'm seeing a bit more. He's adding some more nuances to his game. He's fixing some things and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. And this game was a really good game because they were making like, they knew what his call or what his essentially what his calls are. Like they know what he does when he was flushed out and always going to the left. Like, and they were making corrections to try and catch that. And so this game was a good game to see what they saw before, they were trying to attack him again. They didn't have an answer for him. They didn't have an answer because he's doing things different. He's evolved.
Yeah, he's fixed a few things. Yeah, they rushed him out of the pocket last time we played them to the left side because they thought that was his tendency, and we don't see much of that anymore. Randy, you're right. I watched a bit of, didn't watch the whole thing, but what I did watch from that Raider game told me Jimmy G is the same Jimmy G that we've had all this time, who held us back from when even if we won games, he wasn't necessarily always the reason why we won games. And when it came to important games that we needed to win, we knew why we weren't winning those games. He looked like the same player. People were like, "Oh, well, Jimmy G leaves Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan held him down, and Jimmy G's going to ball out of Vegas because he's going to be able to be himself and do what he wants." And yeah, I don't know. He's got Devontae Adams to throw to too, who's the guy's a beast. But it didn't help because Jimmy G's. They were playing the Jordan Love Packers team where the guy threw 3 interceptions and no touchdowns. So it is what it is. The Packers aren't just that good.
Hearing from Kittle today, they might have something like 250 plays going into the game. And each one of those plays might have a couple like audibles or variations to them where you not variation, but like something you do in case of something, right? So you're talking about 250 plays, plus you got to remember certain facts about those 250 plays. That's some crazy shit. So I don't know if Jimmy actually knew what the fuck he was doing all the time.
Yeah, I don't think he knew either.
I don't think he knew what the fuck he was doing most of the time.
Randy says, I think Brandon Ayuk is still his most utilized receiver. I guess you're talking about
Purdy.
Kind of confusing. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, I love, like I mentioned earlier, for those who missed it, Purdy and Ayuk connection is really, really fun to watch. And it looks like we're finally getting to see the real talent of Ayuk and the full route tree of what he runs, and expect some more deep passes later in the season when it matters. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And maybe we can see Danny Gray in the mix. Who knows? I'm a big fan of Danny Gray. I like Ronnie Bell too. Who's a return guy? Why am I forgetting his name? Ray McLeod. Ray McLeod's okay. He's okay, but I'd rather see other guys get involved. But in general, I know Jennings, really nice third receiver, and in general, I love these receivers in general because they just block so damn well. They love to block on the big McCaffrey runs or just plays down the field when other people are catching the ball. They're very unselfish.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan, let everybody know about the No Border Sports channel. Again, for everybody, if you're not subscribed to 49er Mind YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Every time you watch a video, hit the like button. I know you may not think it's a big deal. It's a big deal for us. If you like watching us, hit the like button. But I do have the links to these other guys' channels. My co-host Mariah had to dip out, but I had the link to her channel, 49 Faithful League Podcast, in the description box of this video. Have the link to No Border Sports YouTube channel in the description box as well. Ryan, let them know if you have anything going on this week.
First, I want to let people know about Mariah's show on Friday. The Goats, the Two Goats. I think what's the name of it? Her and
Steffi Sanchez.
Steph Sanchez have a show on Friday. I can't remember what time it is, but also her and TL have a show. They don't have it necessarily on a specific day, so make sure you go over to Mariah's channel and hit the bell notification so you can always be alerted when she goes live, because you don't want to miss it. She raffles off cards. Hold on, I got cards.
Mariah's always giving something away. If you follow Mariah on Twitter, she just always giving something away.
I got that.
And if you follow me on Twitter,
Mariah.
I'm always retweeting her giveaway prizes and all that. So yeah, Mariah is awesome. Her and TL have an amazing channel where they do a lot of good stuff on there. Shout out to TL too.
So tomorrow I've got the rivalry with Joe Stevens on Seahawk Talk with Joe Stevens. That's the name of the channel, at probably about 6 o'clock, I'm pretty sure. And then we have the Pick'ems with Corey Davis at 7 o'clock. So if you want to talk about you want to put up your Pick'ems and be graded and have a tally just like us, make sure to show up early if you can. Make sure you're there at the start and let Corey Lockdown Davis know that you want to get your Pick'ems tallied, and he'll set you aside a sheet and you'll be a part of the game. And then Thursday, Corey and I stream the Thursday night game. And then on the Fridays, this Friday we got See, it's Niner Smash Mass, Jason Niner Smash Massey on his channel, Niner Faithful Radio, from 7 to 9. And then we'll have the second part of the show on Joe Stevens' channel from 9 to 11. So, yeah, that's a lot. But you know what we're
Shout out to
doing.
Joe Stevens, the friendly Seahawks fan. He's
Yeah.
very knowledgeable. And we were talking about him last week. I said that you went to meet up with Tom Grossi with him. You guys were hanging out. You guys finally got to meet up that one time.
Yeah. He bought me hey, Seahawks fan buying a Niner fan beers and tacos, beers and tacos.
There you go.
It's the least I could get for all those times they whooped our ass.
Exactly, right? Yeah, I used to cringe every time Marshawn Lynch would get the ball or Russell Wilson would drop back to pass and he'd have like 5 seconds to throw. And
if somebody was rushing Marshawn run, I don't
somebody
care.
Somebody was rushing at Russell Wilson. He had 3 or 4 seconds.
That man, I didn't like watching run.
Next thing you know, Russell Wilson had about 10 seconds to throw, and he's not even looking where he's throwing the ball 70 yards downfield, and it's a touchdown. Those were the wildest. Yeah. They had the wildest, flukiest plays on that squad, and I was like, "Oh wow, the Broncos got Russell Wilson. Damn, he's going to do good over there." And for whatever reason, when he's on the Seahawks, he's not the same guy. There you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was watching really quick before we go. I was watching Chris Collinsworth commentate a damn Kansas City Chiefs game, and he was going on and on about how Isaiah Pacheco is very similar to Marshawn Lynch. And like, dude, stop! You did not make comparisons to Marshawn Lynch beast mode when you're watching Isaiah Pacheco. I never once thought that. Like, oh wow, see how he broke the tackle there? That's like Marshawn Lynch. Okay, dude, you're reaching, bro. He was also. They were also saying some stupid stuff on the broadcast again the Niner game. They were saying the damn Dallas Cowboys were running the Texas. It was so dumb. We ran a West Coast offense, and they're saying the Texas Coast defense. There is no Texas Coast. Like what? They were the Texas Coast offense. Texas Coast offense. Yeah.
So down there, the Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of Mexico. Yeah.
They call that the third coast.
Oh, really? They actually call it a third coast?
Yes, they call it the third coast.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a disrespect to the Niners, though. You know, the Niners made the West Coast offense famous. Bill Walsh, you know.
Hey, whatever. If they want to put their name on that shitty ass defense, then go ahead. If you want to talk about
it was on their offense. They're saying West Coast, Texas Coast offense. I said defense at the beginning.
Hey, go ahead. Put your name on that shit. Don't put our name on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Your Texas Coast put up 10 points on us. Okay, our West Coast put up 42 on you. Don't call that shit West Coast. Keep on with Texas Coast, bro.
Often imitated but never duplicated is all I'm gonna say.
Facts.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we smash the Browns.
They ain't got a fullback. I don't want to hear about their shit. They ain't got a fullback.
They don't. A lot of teams don't, but yeah, we had the best fullback. Yeah, hopefully we smash on the Browns. I'm like you guys were saying, we're probably going to kill a lot of clock in that game. Going to make things comfortable. You know, especially in the rain and those conditions. And they just want to go home.
Mayfield ain't playing there.
I know.
Like 3 sacks.
Want to go home unscathed. You know, just be healthy, and we'll see. All right, thank you everybody. We kind of went on a little bit longer than expected, but no biggie. It's always been a good time. I do like the setup. Everything looks cool. I don't know if it looks any better or any different if you sit down, but you got the Pat McAfee thing going on. Stand it up.
Here we go.
And you sitting down or what?
Yeah, that was hella different, huh?
Okay. And as far as things on my channel, I have the Friday collab with Ted called Ball with Bash and Ted. There's another collab that's possibly in the works with a pretty well-known content creator who's I'm not gonna spill the beans just yet unless it's set in stone. Trying to get that worked out. And every now and then I have random guests on my channel. We might do something like that this week. And I do my post games as well. I don't necessarily do pre-games right before the game starts or anything like that, but I definitely do my post game shows are usually after the games, maybe about half an hour or hour at the latest after the game. And if you go on my
community, you tune into his post games after a loss if we have one. Just saying.
God forbid. Yeah, well, you know, there'll be losses in the regular season. I get it. Just we don't have to. I don't want to lose the playoffs. So
he'll still talk some shit. So make sure to tune in. He gets fiery.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much now that Jimmy's gone because
I'm much more calm. God. Yeah, much more calm now that there's no Jimmy. That's for sure. Yeah, but again, appreciate all you guys. You know, so yeah, we got our things going on our channels, and I jumped on the Forever Faithful podcast on this past Monday last night. So. You'll find me in different places. Just follow my Twitter, 49er Minded Twitter, and my community tab here. If I'm going live on a different channel, if I'm going live on my own channel, I'll announce it and let you guys know. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Mariah. People on the Bring the Heat podcast came out victorious. Victory Tuesday. Stomped on the Dallas Cowboys, 42-10. We brought the heat. Niners brought the heat at Levi's. The chat has brought the heat during the show. And thank you guys for watching the 49er YouTube channel where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Let's beat the Browns. Beat Cleveland. Let's go.
Come on, 49er faithful, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.